morning, Kennedy Dragons. Today is Wednesday. It is February 2nd. It's the 108th day of school. I'm Mr. Butcher. It's my job to keep you guys safe so you guys can show us how excellent you can be. Hopefully, you've left your average at home or on the bus, and you are ready, which means being in the right place at the right time with the right stuff, to have a respectful, which means treating others the way you want to be treated, and responsible, which means doing your job with a smile on your face and giving perfect effort. We hope that you have a ready, respectful, and responsible day. Speaking of responsibilities, one of our first responsibilities each day is to show respect for the rights that we have in this country and at this school. We do this by daily saying our Pledge of Allegiance, doing our school pledge, as well as doing our moment of silence. To show respect, what we do is we stop what we're doing, we stand up tall, we put our hands over our hearts like this, we say the pledge loudly, we say it clearly, and with pride. If you guys would please stand for the pledge and remain standing for the Kennedy School Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the Kennedy School Pledge. I pledge myself as a Kennedy Dragon to be ready for the day ahead of me. I'll be respectful of myself, my teachers, and all others I meet throughout the day. I promise to be responsible for myself, my actions, and my learning. I'll work my hardest to be the best dragon I can be. Our second responsibility each day is to try to keep each other safe by slowing down the spread of germs. We do this by frequently washing our hands. When we wash our hands, we want to be using soap and water. If we don't have access to soap and water, an alcohol-based hand sanitizer will be sufficient as well. When we wash our hands, we want to get all parts of our hands. We want to get the palms of our hands. We want to get the backs of our hands. We want to get in between our fingers and our fingertips. We want to get our wrists and our thumbs. When we wash our hands, we want to be doing it for at least 20 seconds. Let's model what good hand washing looks like now. Get the palms of your hands, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get the back of your hand, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get the back of your other hand, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get in between your fingers, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get your fingers, 3, 4, 5. Get your other set of fingers, 2, 4, 5. Get your wrist. Get your other, thumb. Get your other thumb. Now get your wrist. 2, 3, 4, 5. And your other wrist. 2, 3, 4, 5. And now your hands are nice and clean. All right, now that we've washed our hands, we've done our moment of silence, we've done our pledges, it is time to show respect for those that have birthdays today. Happy birthday to Briella Hernandez, who's 9, Jamaria Morrison, who is 6, and happy birthday to Deborah Wilson, who is 11 years old. We'll make sure you guys get your birthday ribbon. All right, our second responsibility, or our third responsibility each morning, is to make our lunch choice. Today for lunch, it's cheeseburger, creamy coleslaw, sidewinder fries, and sliced peaches. If you do not want cheeseburger, you can always get yogurt or muffin, or the PB&J. Every February, the United States honors the contributions and sacrifices of African Americans who have helped to shape this nation. Black History Month celebrates the rich cultural heritage, triumphs, and adversities that are an indelible part of our country's history. Sarah Clark Kaplan says, "There's no American history without African American history." So as we celebrate Black History Month, we will be bringing you a different African American who shook up our country and changed our world. Maya Angelou was a U.S. writer, performer, and professor. She was best known for her poetry and several books based on her life, especially I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Angelou was born Marguerite Johnson on April 4th, 1928 in St. Louis, Missouri. Her parents separated when she was very young. For much of her childhood, she lived with her grandmother and brothers in Stamps, Arkansas. Her brother gave her the nickname Maya. In 1940, Maya went to live with her mother in San Francisco. There she finished high school and had a son. She worked at various jobs, including waitress, cook, and dancer. During this time, she began to use her last name, Angelou. In 1950, Angelou moved to New York City, where she developed her many talents. She studied dance with the famous modern dancer Martha Graham. She wrote and sang songs, some of which she recorded. She earned a role in the opera Porgy and Bess, and she went on an international tour with the show. She joined the Harlem Writers Guild, a group that encouraged her to write. In the early 1960s, Angelou lived in Egypt and Ghana. She worked as a writer and an editor for foreign publications. After moving back to the United States, she was active in the civil rights movement. In the 60s and 70s, Angelou wrote television and movie screenplays. She also acted in the TV series Roots. In 1981, Angelou became a professor at Wake Forest University in North Carolina. During the 1990s, she acted in movies and also directed a film, Down in the Delta. Throughout her life, Angelou wrote poetry and stories based on her experiences. Her first autobiographical book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, was published in 1970. Over the next several decades, she published many other autobiographies and collections of poetry. She also wrote children's books. Bill Clinton asked Maya Angelou to write a poem for his inauguration as president in 1993. Her reading of the poem called On the Pulse of the Morning made her a celebrity. In 2011, President Barack Obama gave Angelou the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That award is the country's highest non-military honor. Angelou died on May 28, 2014 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Today's famous African American that shook up our world is Maya Angelou, born April 4th, 1928. She died May 28th, 2014. All right, it's time for our writing and vocabulary activity for the week. Here's our picture of the week. Yesterday we asked you for nouns, persons, places, things that you can see, touch, feel. Mr. McCoy had lion, friend, giraffe, and stilts. Miss Ballard had giraffe, lion, island, ocean, stilts, bush, and sky. Miss Cole had the nouns lion, sticks, giraffe, grass, tree, and leaves. And then Miss Kinney's class had Africa, lion, stilts, bushes, mountain, background. And here's some of the writing that we had. The lion wants to be tall like his friend the giraffe, so he is wearing stilts. Miss Ballard had Gerald the giraffe and his best friend Leroy the lion recently went on vacation to visit the tropical Sunset Island. Gerald was so tall he could see all the beautiful sights. Unfortunately, Leroy was too close to the ground and unable to see all the wonders of the island. What would he do? How could he solve his problem? Excellent. And Miss Cole had the lion was standing on 4 gigantic sticks. The giraffe was walking on the grass to go to the trees to eat the leaves. And then Miss Kinney had the animals are in Africa, and Leighton had there is a beautiful clear blue sky. So today we're looking for verbs, words that show action. What's going on in the story? What actions are you seeing, or what actions do you think are going to happen? So look for your action words and create some good writing. It's time for our math problems of the week. Remember, there's a K1, a 2-3, and a 4-5. Put your answers on the whiteboard. Don't forget your name on your answers. All right, here's the K1 math problem of the week. Miss Santiago has lost her marbles. They were in a jar and they spilled out all over the floor. How many marbles do you see? How many groups of marbles can you make? So here's the picture you look at. That's how many marbles. You got to tell me how many you see and how many groups can you make. Here's the 2-3 problem of the week. How would you arrange rectangles with the areas seen on the board to fill the board? And here give you examples. So they give you some areas and you have to shade those in rectangles that will help fill the board completely in different colors. You can't really see this one that great, but the one on the whiteboard is very good. So do that one now. All right, here's the 4-5 math question of the week. Using some of the digits from 1 to 9, at most one time each, place a digit in each box to make a true equation with the smallest possible sum. You must put a digit in each box. You cannot use 0. So there you go. You got to think through this one. A lot of trial and error. You got to really know your fractions and how to do mixed numbers. All right, today's morning message is on honesty and responsibility. For most of us, it's easy to be very honest. We don't cheat on tasks, we don't steal. Most of us are honest with everyone around us. But what about being honest with ourselves? It's not always easy to tell ourselves the truth. For example, sometimes it's hard to admit when we've hurt someone else. Instead of telling ourselves the truth, we tell ourselves excuses such as, well, they deserved it, or he started it. Sigmund Freud, the great 20th century doctor of psychiatry, once said, being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. After all, you can't correct a problem until you first admit that you have one. Be honest with yourself. If you act in a hurtful way, be honest and admit it. Take responsibility for what you say, take responsibility for what you do, and then decide to do better next time. With something to think about, I'm Mr. Butcher. Make today your masterpiece or not. Remember, the choice is we are not on a mask mandate, but there are times where you are required to wear your mask, like when you have to get on the bus, or if you've been exposed to COVID and you are quarantining at school in a mask, or if you just have a big cut on your nose and you just want to cover it up. Make sure you're wearing your mask the right way. Put it on over your nose, over your mouth and your chin. Make sure it's tight around your ears so it doesn't fall down. You guys have a great day. Great day. That is all we have for announcements, so please help me.
Me and your teachers keep you safe. That is our job.
And your job is to help us keep you safe.
And you can help us by being a ready, respectful, and responsible student who is focused on graduating in the year.
Because when you are a ready, respectful, and responsible student focused on graduation, you are boldly committed to student success. I love you very much. Have a great Read aloud of the day. Remember, in the month of February, we're going to be doing all of our read alouds by African American authors or books that have an African American main character. Today, the book is The Stuff of Stars. The author is Marion Dane Bauer. The illustrator is Ikua Holmes. This is another Coretta Scott King Award winner. As I read, I'm going to try to model what good readers do. Reads fluently, which means I read the words correctly at a good pace, not too fast, not too slow, and with expression. And as I read, I want you guys to practice what good readers do, and that's what they listen for, things that are in the story. The character, who or what the story is about. The setting, where and when the story is taking place. The sequence of events, what happens first, next, and last. And then ask yourself questions. Why did it happen? How did it happen? What do I think is going to happen next? Because we want you to understand, comprehend the story. Here we go. The Stuff of the Stars by Marion Dane Bauer. In the dark, in the dark, in the deep, deep dark, a speck floated, invisible as thought, weighty as God. There was yet no time, there was yet no space, no up, no down, no edge, no center. No earth with soaring hawks, scuffling beetles, trees reaching for the sky. There was no sky, no you, no me, only the speck, waiting and waiting. Then the beginning of all beginnings went BANG! And in a trillionth of a second, our universe was born. A cloud of gas unfolded, unfurled, zigged and zagged, stretched, collided, expanded, expanded, expanded. Bits bumped, gathered, fused. And throughout the cosmos, stars caught fire, trillions of stars, but still no planets to attend those stars. And if no planets, then no oceans, no mountains, no hippopotami, no violets blooming in shady wood, no crickets singing to the night, no day, no night. The stars burned and burned. They burned so long and so hot that some of them exploded, flinging stardust everywhere. And the ash of those dying stars gathered into planets, and the planets circled around other stars. But still, no bluebirds, no butterflies, no snails, no giraffes, still no you, no me. The planets closest to the star stayed very hot. The ones far away grew very cold. But one lucky planet, a fragile blue ball we call Earth, was neither too far or too near. It circled its yellow star, the one we call the sun, from just the right distance and with just the right tilt to be sometimes warm and sometimes cool. Perfect for turning that starry stuff into mitochondria, jellyfish, spiders, into ferns and sharks, into daisies and galloping horses. Again and again, stardust gave birth to stardust. Dinosaurs lived and died, making room for humans. Our great-great-great-grandparents and all before them lived and died, making room for more and more children. Then one day, in the dark, in the deep, deep dark, another speck floated, invisible as dreams, special as love. Waiting, dividing, changing, growing, until at last, you burst into this world. You took a big breath of the same air once breathed by woolly mammoths. You cried tears that were once salty seas. Your hair once the carbon in a leaf. You and the velvet moss, the caterpillars, the lions. You and the singing whales, the larks and the frogs. You and me, loving you, all of us, the stuff of stars. The stuff of stars.